So today we're doing our chapter 11 discussion. The question is to describe the problems associated with teenage pregnancy and childbearing, as well as the role of the father, to discuss the characteristics of both ineffective and effective sex education programs. So to start with just teenage pregnancy as a whole, the United States has the highest teen pregnancy rate. And this is a problem associated with contraceptives, lack of knowledge, lack of access, lack of planning, that kind of thing. So risky sex and its prevention is the main factor, I would say. So whenever we discuss the problems associated with it, we can start with teenage fathers. Teenage fathers usually have effects on have problems with self-esteem, schoolwork, aggression, drugs, and alcohol, have fathered a child previously, or be a child of an adolescent father themselves. Children of teen mothers are more likely to have school problems, be involved in misbehavior and delinquent activity, be sexually active at an early age, and become an adolescent parent. Problems become more apparent with age, so they may not be shown right away. They may start to grow as they live with an adolescent mother. Many problems result primarily from poverty and single parenthood. So without a father figure for that child, children tend to struggle more, especially since their mother is an adolescent themselves. Adolescent mothers may perceive their babies as being more difficult and have problems interacting with them. Without that maturity and without that planning, they may have difficulty with their child in the bonding aspect, or just taking care of them as a whole, just because they are also an adolescent themselves. Mothers who are more intelligent and better adjusted before the birth of their infant have greater parenting skills later. This one is super important, even for the one before it. Planning goes into it so much. Yes, it can be a surprise for somebody older and not an adolescent, and they still do fine, but with an adolescent juggling everything they already are, and they don't have that maturity, they don't have, they usually don't have financials, they usually don't have a good support system, just because of the stigmas directed at them for being adolescents. The greater incidence of problems among offspring of adolescent mothers may reflect the child's overall environment rather than parenting. This is also, like I said, they usually don't have the financials, they usually don't have, their own place, they don't usually have both parents working together with that child, that kind of thing. But it doesn't just go into the problems for a child, it goes into the consequences for a teen mother. So, consequences for teen mothers: problems possibly greater for mothers than children, disruptions in schools and careers. Because they have this child now, they don't have the time, the resources, that kind of thing, to go into a career for themselves. Their life is kind of taken over by a child. A child is a big commitment. They're more likely to remain poor, just because a baby requires a lot of financials. They have to eat, they have to have their own room, they have to have a crib, they have to have clothes, that kind of thing. If the mother doesn't produce breast milk, that's formula, that's $12,000 a year. Still considerably diverse in adult life paths. It can be diverse just because of when they've had their kids, so it really just depends on age. Long-term advantage to remaining in school, and a marriage is a high-risk strategy. So now we're going to go into the characteristics of both ineffective and effective sex programs. So a comprehensive sex program is going to go into contraception, STDs, and pregnancy. It also teaches adolescents to avoid unwanted sex, how to say no. And it also teaches them safe sex. So, like I said, contraceptives and STDs and pregnancies are all risks that go into having sex. And it also changes their perceptions about peer norms and attitudes. So this program doesn't necessarily encourage more teens to have sex, but it really just helps protect them for when they do want to have sex. It's not like oh yeah, here's a free ride, go ahead, you can have sex now. No. It's more of here are the protective measures that you need to take if this is something that you want to do. Abstinence-only sex education, that one isn't exactly as effective, I would say, just because it doesn't teach about safe sex. It just kind of draws a line at sex altogether. So even if an adolescent takes this class or takes this education and they do end up having sex, they don't know how to do it safely. They don't take the proper steps to protect themselves and to eliminate the risks of pregnancy and childbearing. So yeah, this one is unsuccessful and causes an increase in teen pregnancy and childbearing.